now Friday, December 8th, so day 8 of Vlogmas. It's now the evening. I made the decision to not vlog anything throughout the day. The last 24 hours have been really intense and crazy. For those of you who have been following the news or live near me, you probably know that there's been a lot of wildfires just raging throughout Southern California. And for a while, they're all very far away in areas that I was not directly affected by them. But things changed quickly overnight, and early yesterday morning, there was a fire a couple towns south of me, so it was still pretty far away, but when I was driving down the street to my client's house, I could see this massive plume of smoke just coming over the mountains because where I live, it's a valley, it's a desert valley, but you can see this massive thing of smoke just way up high, and it was quickly burning, and some of the main subsections of the freeway were shut down, so it was growing pretty rapidly, and you could see it, and the winds were picking up. Some places the winds are reported at 70 miles per hour. It was pretty bad. Things are getting knocked over. There was these massive tumbleweeds. I have never seen giant ones before. I see them pretty frequently where I live right now, but there was one that was larger than my car. It was crazy. It was so big. It was blocking half the road. And I kept thinking, well, what if one of those caught on fire? You know, who knows where it could go. And then I'm on my way to another part of town, and there's this other town that's like borders mine that's really close, and this massive fire broke out there. And it was just like, it was like a scene of something you would see in a movie. It was just crazy. There was all these planes flying, putting things out, or dropping fire retardant, putting out the fire, and just people watching in disbelief. And it was bad. I had to pick up my car from the shop because that was the day of all days. My car was getting worked on, and I had a car that I was borrowing from the shop to be able to get around in while they were doing work. And it wasn't like it was an oil change. It was like massive mechanical work that needed to be done on my car. So I'm trying to think, what do I do? I wanted to make sure that, because I was on an assignment still, I was caring for these animals, I wanted to make sure they felt safe and secure. And then at the same time, I'm feeling a little conflicted because I want to make sure that I have my stuff in order. And I have a turtle, and I wanted to, that was my phone going off, I wanted to make sure that I had a portable container that I could put her in and transport her with me. So, and I wanted to make sure I had a full tank of gas in my car in case, you know, I had to get out. So, luckily, my clients came home early to take over, but I felt bad. I wanted to, you know, do the whole thing for them, of course, but I understand, and it was also, in a way, a relief knowing that I could go and get my stuff together in case I had to leave. So the fire was growing very rapidly. The evacuation map kept growing with more evacuation orders missed. And what was just so surreal and crazy to me, a place I had just been a couple hours before was now in the mandatory evacuation map. And several of the homes of many of my clients were in that area. And it just made me feel so sick to my stomach watching that, because at first I thought that was like the fire burned map, and I was thinking of these poor families. And so, but I later on my phone again. But I later realized, I'm just going to turn the volume off for a second. But then I realized that it was just like the evacuation map that was being listed. So that was intense, and it was just scary thinking that they might lose everything, and I was worried about their families, I was worried about their animals and things like that. And then my family was panicking, several of them. I had friends and family reaching out to me yesterday. My phone was just ringing off the hook, text messages, Facebook messages, everything. And people are worried about me, people telling me to get out now. And I wasn't in a mandatory or voluntary evacuation area yet, but I was in an area that was pretty close to them. So it was it was just a very surreal and sickening feeling, and kind of not quite knowing what to do, but knowing in general you're probably okay to stay for now, but just, keep watching. So I signed up for an alert system that would go to my phone to make sure, in case I did have to evacuate, it would alert me right away. So I kept a watch on that, kept in communication with my mom so she could relay the message out to more people if I was unable to. So at least one person knew what was going on. And then, talking to my partner, he's on a business trip at the moment, and finding out, what of yours do you want me to grab and take? In case we do have to evacuate, like, what's precious to you? And I did that for myself too. I packed a suitcase and a thing of food, kind of in a, quick motion, because you don't know if it's going to come close enough to where you do have to leave. And so it was just the weirdest thing, kind of going through where I live and thinking, what can I not replace? What is precious to me? What is something that I can't live without? And kind of just going through and deciding like what to take and what not to take. And I ended up packing a suitcase with clothing, and like I packed primarily workout clothing, and like making sure I had enough like socks, underwear, clothing for different types of weathers, gloves. I packed a blanket, hairbrush, makeup, toothbrush, stuff like that. In a way, it was a blessing because I was already semi-packed, but in a smaller bag, and I was able to transport it. Like, all of my laptop, my electronics were already in one bag, so it was easy to have that just done already. And so I packed things, and there were very few like material things besides just enough clothes for about a week and a half or so that I packed. There was like a designer wallet that I love, I packed. I couldn't find, there was a purse of mine that I really love. I couldn't find it at the moment, and I just was going to let it go because I couldn't just spend all the time searching for it. I needed to pack, move on. And there's things like my college diplomas. I didn't pack those because even though they're precious and important to me in the originals, I know that if I had to, I could reorder those. And they're in these big, bulky frames. So I would just have to pay the university money to repeat pay the university money to just reprint my degrees. And, I mean, it's doable. And I have copies of them on my computer, so there's that. But I looked around a lot of my pictures and different artwork, and it made me feel sad knowing that, I can't bring all this, but I don't know. It's this is a bit raw and a bit choppy, so hopefully I'm making sense, but it's just a weird feeling packing and then waiting to find out if you're going to have to leave, and not knowing that if you do have to leave, if things are going to, you're going to come back to a house. A few years ago, my parents actually had to evacuate their house. There was a fire that started near them, and they had a mandatory evacuation and had to leave with about like 15 minutes of notice. And you know, they got the dogs and got their medicine and I think a change of clothes, if that, and had to get out. And then to find a place to go, where do you stay? And it was difficult. So for all of us, because you feel helpless and you don't know if you're coming back to a house and there's no information, and like it's in a very mountainous area, lots of big trees, and you know, so much could happen so quickly. So they ended up being lucky and they didn't lose their house, but there were people nearby that did, and the fire came about a quarter mile to their property line. So that was pretty scary. And then you probably heard about all the fires in Northern California, and that's where I grew up, in Northern California, and just seeing neighborhoods just demolished of areas that I knew, places that I grew up in, and you know, it's gone. So it's sad just to see so much of the state on fire. And so back to here in Southern California. So when I woke up this morning, everything ended up being okay. In terms of my situation, but not for others, which is really, it's devastating, and it's just sad to think about. But the one fire that was posing like immediate threat was at least when I looked last, about 60% contained. They'd actually brought in the CAL FIRE 747, and it was kind of cool in a way to see that plane in action, and just amazed at what it could do. One thing you may learn about me over time is like I love watching airplanes, and I just think it's really cool that this 747 from McClellan Air Force Base up in NorCal, you know, came to our rescue and helped put out this fire. And the area where I was in was really close to the fire, and I was picking my car up from the shop, and I looked above me, and the 747 was like right up there above us, and like I feel like I could touch it. It was so close. It was like 2,000 feet up. So if you were an av geek, you would have really enjoyed that. But it was cool because it turned right above us. It looked like it could touch the ground. It was so close. So kind of a cool thing to see in a sad circumstance. So it just gave me hope that they were going to be able to put this fire out really quickly, because I know that plane can do much more than what the smaller planes can do. So I know a lot of people still lost their homes, and it's devastating. And animals died, and that's devastating. So, but I'm glad that it's contained and it's no longer a threat to me. The fire south of me is still burning, and there's been a lot of houses destroyed and animals that have died, and I haven't seen any reports of any people losing their lives yet, and I hope that no one does. But that's still going on, and it's not blowing, it's blowing west, so it's going away from where I live, and they would have to come across a mountain to come to me, but it's still pretty close, which is kind of scary. And it would have to like burn down half of the town I live in to even get to where I am. So hope that doesn't happen. But it's a surreal experience, and I recognize that I come from a more privileged place where I could actually think, what do I want to pack? Because I had the time. I didn't have the mandatory evacuations, but I wanted to be ready just in case. And I recognize that there are a lot of people up there that had no time or seconds to spare, minutes to spare to get out. But it makes you really think about getting your stuff in order, all of your important documents uploaded, backed up somewhere, put in somewhere where it's easy to grab, things of value, things of importance to you, just having things just ready to go. And it's crazy, but I'm so thankful that they were able to get at least these fires more so under control, and I hope that the conditions continue to improve elsewhere throughout Southern California. It's been crazy. And so today I noticed that the air quality was starting to improve. It was really bad yesterday. Like, there was just this horrible kind of haze, and the winds were so strong. Like, you could see like dust devils forming and fences being knocked over and debris flying in the air in some places that were really windy. It was just a surreal experience. It's almost like you feel like you're in a disaster zone movie, in a movie almost, but you're not. So that's kind of what's been going on. So this day and the day before and everything is just a little abnormal because of these conditions. So but because of these things happening, I haven't tracked my food or put together like the best balanced of meals, and that's okay because these are the things that are happening. Like, real life stuff is happening right now, and that kind of stuff, like, in my opinion, can definitely take a back seat. Like, your safety is a priority, and I'm not going to stress because I didn't like enter something into my chronometer and track and whatnot. And the fact I've had to miss working out for a few days because of the fires and whatnot has been a major bummer, especially the running. I can't do a 10-mile run outdoors in smoky air. Like, it's just not good for my health, and I cannot do that on the treadmill, so I modify. So I just do lighter workouts, things I can do at home just to keep myself active or going, and sometimes it's a nice way to take your mind off things if you possibly can. So yeah, last night I ended up eating some Thai food, and it was really good. I really like the yellow curry, and with extra tofu in it, and then the fried tofu, and had a little salad and stuff like that. So it's funny because I know a couple days ago I was just like, oh, I'm done with salads, but I don't know, I just kind of wanted a small one, just a small one, not a large one. So that's been my life for the last couple days. It's crazy. So life lessons here: have your stuff in order, be prepared to evacuate, know where things are that you want to take with you if you have the time, but your safety is the absolute number one priority. If you lose that paperwork, or you lose that dress, or you lose that piece of furniture, there's always something that you can replace it with. It may not be the same thing, but you can always replace it with. So hopefully tomorrow's vlog will be a lot more interesting. But this was definitely, I think, an important topic to talk about, and I just wanted to share my experience with you, and we'll be back to normal stuff tomorrow. Alright guys, well, I am a little behind on editing. I did not have internet for a couple days, but I have it back, and I am excited. So I will hopefully get some more of the vlog. You can tell I've been talking for a while. I can't talk anymore. I will hopefully have some of the Vlogmas videos up for you guys to see, for the few of you guys that are here with me. I'm gonna go now, and thanks for hanging out with me today, and please give me a thumbs up if you would like to see more content like this, and go ahead and subscribe for more so we can have more time to hang out together. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and if you guys are in the affected areas of the fire, just know my thoughts are with you. Please be safe. You and your family, your pets, that safety, the safety of your lives, is the number one priority. As much as it sucks, possessions can definitely be replaced. You're far more important. Alright guys, take care. Bye.